Hey there, curious minds. Welcome to I Wonder, the show where we explore the questions you've been wondering about. I'm your host, Marissa. If you've got a question of your own, head to iwonderpodcast.com and you might just hear it in a future episode. Today, we are diving into a question that has probably crossed your mind every time you've looked at a toy, a movie poster, or a massive skeleton in a museum. This question comes to us from Dominique. Dominique is 13 years old and lives in Athens, Georgia. Dominique wants to know, how do we actually know what dinosaurs looked like?
Wow.
It's a bit of a mystery when you think about it. After all, the last non-bird dinosaur vanished about 66 million years ago. There were no cameras around to take a picture with a triceratops. Nobody was there to paint a portrait of a diplodocus. And while it was awesome, Jurassic Park isn't a documentary.
Duh!
For a long time, humans only had the bones to go on. They would find only a giant stony tooth or a bone in the middle of a forest and try to imagine the whole creature that it belonged to. It was like trying to finish a massive 1,000-piece jigsaw puzzle when you only have 3 pieces and you've lost the box with the picture on it and the pieces are scattered across continents.
Oh my god.
But over the last century, scientists called paleontologists, the ones who study dinosaur bones, have become expert detectives, using every clue left behind in the earth to sketch out the most accurate picture possible of these ancient giants. The first and most obvious clue is the skeleton. Bones are like the blueprint of a body. By looking at how the bones fit together, scientists can figure out the basic shape and size of a dinosaur. If the neck bones are long and thin, you're probably looking at a long-necked leaf eater. If the leg bones are thick and heavy like tree trunks, that animal was built for carrying massive weight, not for sprinting. They look for muscle scars on the bones, which are little rough patches where the muscles used to attach. By measuring these spots, scientists can estimate how beefy a dinosaur's legs were or how powerful its bite might have been. It's a bit like looking at the frame of a car to try to figure out if it was a speedy sports car or a heavy-duty truck. Bones can only really tell us about the inside. What about the outside? For a long time, we just assumed dinosaurs had scaly, leathery skin like modern crocodiles or lizards. We thought they were drab colors like a forest green or a muddy brown. And we assume this because they're reptiles, and that's what our reptiles look like today. However, we've started finding mummy dinosaurs, fossils where the conditions were just right to preserve more than just bone. In these rare cases, we can see actual skin impressions pressed into the bone, showing us patterns of scales that look like tiny pebbles or even armored plates. This tells us that some dinosaurs had bumpy skin, while others had skin that was relatively smooth. Then came the biggest plot twist in the history of dinosaur science: feathers. We used to think of dinosaurs as giant cold-blooded lizards, but then we discovered that many of them, especially the smaller, faster ones, were actually covered in feathers. This wasn't just a few stray hairs here and there. Some dinosaurs, like the Sinosauropteryx, had fuzzy coats that probably kept them warm, much like a bird's down feathers. And we know this because scientists found fossils with clear outlines of feathery fluff around the bones. Turns out that a velociraptor probably looked more like a very dangerous toothy chicken than like the scaly lizards you see in older movies. You might wonder how we know what color those feathers or scales were. For a long time, we just guessed. But recently, scientists have found a way to literally see ancient colors. They use powerful microscopes to look at tiny structures called melanosomes. These are microscopic packages of pigment, which is the stuff that gives color to hair, skin, and feathers. Different shaped melanosomes create different colors. Round ones might mean a reddish brown, while long pill-shaped ones might mean black or gray. By looking at these shapes in fossilized feathers, we've discovered that some dinosaurs had ginger-colored striped tails, while others had shiny, iridescent feathers that would have shimmered in the sun like a raven or a hummingbird.
Whoa!
Another clue comes from trace fossils. These aren't part of the dinosaur's body, but things that are left behind, like footprints or cropolites, which is a fancy scientific word for saying fossilized poop. Footprints are amazing because they show us how a dinosaur moved. We can see if they walked on 2 legs or 4, if they lived in groups like a herd of cows, and even how fast they moved. By calculating the distance between footprints, scientists can tell if a dinosaur was strolling through a swamp or sprinting after a snack.
Delicious.
This helps us understand their posture, which is how they held their bodies. We used to think T-Rex stood upright like a human with its huge tail dragging on the ground. But footprints showed us that they actually held their bodies horizontally, using their massive tails as a balance beam to keep them from tipping over. We also look at living dinosaurs to fill in the blanks. You might not realize it, but as we alluded to earlier, pigeons and chickens are actually direct descendants of the dinosaurs.
What?
By studying how birds grow and move and comparing them to modern reptiles like crocodiles, scientists use a method called phylogenetic bracketing. This is a big term that basically means if birds have a certain trait and crocodiles have that same trait, there's a very good chance that dinosaurs caught in the middle had it too. For example, both birds and crocodiles lay their eggs with hard shells, so we can be almost certain that all dinosaurs did the same. The way we picture dinosaurs is always changing because science is always moving forward. Every time a new fossil is found, it's like adding a new high-definition pixel to a blurry photograph. We're moving away from the idea of monsters and toward the idea of real living animals that had complex lives. Some might have had bright red pouches on their necks to attract mates similar to modern birds. Others might have had camouflage patterns to hide in the prehistoric bush. We're even starting to use computer simulations to test dinosaur bodies, seeing how they would have walked or swung their tails in a virtual world to see what would have made sense physically. It's exciting to think that the dinosaurs we see in books today might look very different in the books you read 10 years from now. Science isn't about having all the answers right now. It's about willing to change your mind when you find better evidence. We're currently in a golden age of paleontology, where a new species of dinosaur is being discovered almost every week. Each one tells us a little bit more about the texture of their skin, the sound of their calls, and the colors of their world. So the next time you see a T-Rex, remember that you're looking at a masterpiece of detective work that took hundreds and thousands of scientists to create. Thanks again to Dominique for such a great question. And remember, if you have a question you're curious about, submit it on our website, iwonderpodcast.com. And we might just feature it in our next episode of I Wonder. Until next time, stay curious and keep wondering.